As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate International Sickle Cell Day, health experts in the country are calling for more awareness campaign on the disease, with research showing that Nigeria is the worst affected in sub-Saharan Africa. Our correspondent Adesewa Odusoga has been finding out the reason for the growing figure and the possible remedy to the ailment. Take a listen.
Every year, over 150,000 children are born with sickle cell in Nigeria. The country bears the biggest burden of the scourge globally, recording about 40 million Nigerians as healthy carriers of the sickle cell gene.
In our bodies, there are so many different types of hemoglobins that different people can have, right? So S is the most common abnormal hemoglobin. A is the normal. However, there are other abnormal hemoglobins such as C, like I said, such as thalassemia, such as D, there's G, there's H, there's so many. But in our own environment, what we tend to see is S and C. So a mother who is AC, for instance, and a father who is AS can produce a child who is SC. So and in that case, that child has sickle cell disease, not sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell anemia is the more severe form of the disease in which the patient has both S and S, two S's in their gene pool.
Sickle cell patients over time have had to deal with stigmatization from the society. A lot of time believes avid that most sickle cell patients tend to die young. But Oyeshola and Fatima are one of many survivors who explain how they were able to scale through the hurdles.
I've not been affected by the stigmatization because my mom, I was brought up with so much confidence, In as much as she didn't want me playing in the rain, she didn't stop me from doing my house chores. She gave me a good beating when I deserved one, So she treated me normally like my brother, though I couldn't do some rigorous things. And she told me you could be anything you want to be, doctor, a lawyer. And we had a few people that she knew that had sickle cell who were married with kids. So she always told me, this person is doing so well, you're not going to be different. So I grew up with that mindset that I can actually do anything if I set my mind to it. And to the glory of God, I really don't look like it. I don't have some of the physical characteristics, so I really didn't suffer the stigmatization.
I still experience the stereotype till now. I still do, but I don't really care. I really do not care about how you feel about me or anything. They put me down so many times, like when it comes to school, some activities and everything, but I really do not care. And one I could really remember vividly was when I was in secondary school. I was considered for a post, and one of the teachers was like, oh, do you guys know that this girl is sick? You can't put her through all this stress, because they think I can't handle it. But with time, I think people have started to understand that irrespective of your genotype, you should not treat anybody lesser.
Bone marrow transplant is one of many identified cures for sickle cell disease, but not, of course, without side effect.
One of the side effects is infertility. Yeah, so you can imagine a young boy of 12, who has this chance, right, at a cure and gets cured. But then, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, when he now wants to start a family, realizes that all his sperm, or the faculties for reproduction can no longer perform those functions because of the kinds of drugs that we give before doing a transplant. It can be fatal. It can end up causing death. It can cause secondary cancers to come up. So you're trying to cure something and then something else comes up.
Government negligence and inadequate support system has become a challenge for foundations, as there are no established programs for sickle cell disease.
Government is not doing enough. You can see that the hospitals are not equipped enough for us. Because we're so many, you would think that the government hospitals should have a dedicated emergency ward for people like us. But I personally have been very ill, and I went to Lut, and they told me no bed. I was registered in Lut in 1984 when I was 2. I've been going there since then. But I went there that day and they said no bed. I was frustrated. I had to leave. So things like that. And you see that in advanced countries, when a warrior has a crisis, the ambulance takes them straight to the hematology ward. But in Nigeria, you still have to struggle for bed space.
According to the World Health Organization, Sub-Saharan Africa has the largest number of sickle cell cases, and experts have continued to attribute this to ignorance. To change this narrative, government and stakeholders have been charged to establish programs and, of course, raise awareness. Adesewa Odusoga, TV360, Lagos, Nigeria.